Tonight, a stunning announcement in Washington. The president's nominee for Commerce Secretary withdraws. Judd Gregg, a Republican, cites philosophical differences on a number of issues, including the economic stimulus package.
Bottom line is this was simply a bridge too far from me.
I'm Katie Couric. That package will be approved just the same. And we'll tell you what's in it for you, including tax breaks. Also tonight, judges breaking the law. Two plead guilty to taking millions in payoffs to send juvenile offenders to private lockups. And the growing backlash against that mother of octuplets.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. It all seemed to be going fine for President Obama and his economic stimulus package. Congress is ready to approve it, and he was out on the stump selling it. Then a surprise announcement caught the White House off guard. The president's choice for Commerce Secretary, Judd Gregg, withdrew his nomination, citing disagreements over the package and more. Gregg is a third-term senator from New Hampshire. Nominated 9 days ago, he would have been the third Republican in the Obama cabinet. Chip Reed at the White House has the story behind Gregg's about-face.
At almost the exact moment President Obama took the stage at a Caterpillar plant in Peoria to pitch his stimulus package, Judd Gregg, his Republican nominee to be Commerce Secretary, issued a statement withdrawing his nomination, citing irresolvable conflicts. Late today, he explained why.
And I realize that to withdraw at this point is really unfair in many ways, but to go forward and take this position and then find myself sitting there and not being able to do the job the way it should be done on behalf of the president, 100%, it would have been an even bigger mistake.
In a statement, White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs said it was Gregg who had pursued the job. He was very clear throughout the interviewing process that despite past disagreements about policies, he would support, embrace, and move forward with the president's agenda. We regret that he has had a change of heart. A top Democratic source on Capitol Hill was more blunt, saying Gregg actively campaigned for the job, then erratically dropped out without warning. Gregg's withdrawal comes just 9 days after his nomination was announced.
This is not a time for partisanship. This is not a time when we should stand in our ideological corners and shout at each other.
White House officials say Gregg, one of the Senate's most fiscally conservative members, started having misgivings in recent days, primarily because of differences over spending. Other sources say Gregg was getting, quote, hammered by fellow Republicans for selling out. Gregg is the third of the president's cabinet nominees to withdraw, following Bill Richardson, who was the first choice for Commerce Secretary, and Tom Daschle, who had been Mr. Obama's choice to run the Department of Health and Human Services. In an interview with a local newspaper, the president said Gregg's decision came as, quote, something of a surprise that overshadowed a day that was supposed to be all about selling the stimulus at this Caterpillar plant in Peoria. Katie?
Chip Reed. Thanks very much, Chip. Bob Schieffer is our chief Washington correspondent and anchor of Face the Nation. Bob, this seems so strange, particularly the timing. Why do you think Gregg had this sudden change of heart?
I tell you, Katie, this is either the weirdest thing that ever happened in Washington or we have found one honest man. I mean, he says, look, I was offered the job. I said yes, but then when I thought about it, I decided, well, maybe it's not the right fit. I do know his own party was giving him a lot of static. They felt he was selling out. There was not much support for the stimulus package. But when you think back on it, Katie, surely when they were talking to him about this, the Obama people must have told him what was coming down the road here. This one is just, there's a lot of questions here and not many answers.
Well, let me ask you a follow-up question, Bob. Does this once again raise issues about the Obama administration's vetting process?
Well, I don't think it can help but do that. I mean, they'll get by this. They'll find a Commerce Secretary. But to have these incidents happening over and over again, this does not help this administration's credibility. There's no other way you can say it.
All right. Bob Schieffer in Washington. Bob, thank you. Congress is expected to approve the economic stimulus plan by tomorrow. It's designed in part to get you spending again by giving you the money to do it. Nancy Cordes has details.
Cheeseburger, American, all the way, to go.
For restaurant owner Tom Glasgow, and for most Americans, the new stimulus package serves up a variety of tax cuts.
The bottom line is every little bit will help.
The biggest bit is a $400 credit for almost all workers. That comes out to about $13 a week, which may not sound like much, but consider this.
Basically, what does my business good is people with disposable income that can spend a little extra on lunch on a daily basis.
Americans will also get more tax breaks for making big purchases, up to $8,000 for first-time home buyers, while new car buyers can deduct the sales tax, and the college tax credit jumps from $1,800 a year to $2,500. But the biggest winners may be low-income workers, like Glasgow's 8 employees. The bill gives workers making as little as $3,000 a year a check of $1,000 per child, and gives a one-time payout of $250 to Social Security beneficiaries.
The poor spend almost any additional money they have coming in. They have lots and lots of needs relative to their incomes. They need every dollar they can have, and a new dollar in the door goes out pretty quickly.
The stimulus bill does little, however, to spur small business owners like Glasgow to add to their payroll.
President Obama, during the campaign, proposed a $3,000 refundable tax credit for any business that hired an additional worker.
You are going to get a tax break.
But that's been dropped. That's not part of the stimulus package.
And in today's tough environment, it's going to take a lot
2838
to convince employers to start hiring again. Americans could start to see that extra money in their pockets within a couple of months, but the big question is, will the tax breaks continue once the economy improves? Congress could find it difficult to take those tax breaks back, Katie, once they've given them out.
All right, Nancy Cordes on Capitol Hill tonight. Nancy, thank you. Now to a very different issue of concern to many American families, the safety of vaccines. Some parents believe there is a connection between autism in their children and the combination vaccine for measles, mumps, and rubella. But a special court ruled today in 3 separate cases there is no evidence to support such a link. Every year, nearly 10 million doses of the MMR vaccine are distributed in this country. Dr. John LaPook is here to explain the impact of today's ruling. And John, I know this was a decisive ruling, so do you think this will put an end to concerns that somehow vaccines and autism are related?
Katie, it should, but it won't, because at heart this is an emotional issue. And from the parent's point of view, they have the kid who's perfectly healthy, they get a shot, and now their kid develops autism. And they're naturally thinking it has to be cause and effect, even if it isn't.
But they looked at all the evidence, John, and they determined without question there was no link?
Right, and you know, they're continuing to do ongoing studies, but what a lot of the experts are saying is we're spending all this time and money looking at that potential link. We need to be spending it on early diagnosis, treatment, and if it's not being caused by vaccines, figuring out what is causing it.
All right, Dr. John LaPook. John, thank you so much. Now to a shocking story of crime inside the criminal justice system. 2 judges in Pennsylvania pleaded guilty today to taking huge payoffs to send teenagers to privately run detention centers. More on that from Seth Doan.
2 Pennsylvania county judges walked solemnly today into U.S. District Court in Scranton. These judges found themselves on the other side of the bench, pleading guilty to a brazen and profitable scheme. Mark Chivarella and Michael Conahan faced fraud and tax charges for allegedly taking $2.6 million in kickbacks for sentencing thousands of juveniles to detention facilities run by 2 privately owned companies. Here's how prosecutors say it worked. Young offenders, often with no prior record, were brought before these judges for charges as minor as stealing change from cars or writing prank notes. The judges shipped them off to private detention facilities, which got county money to house them. In exchange, the judges allegedly received money for each offender. They also received payoffs for the initial construction and operation of these juvenile jails.
It's just really scary there.
15-year-old Bernadine Wallace was sentenced to a month in lockup for a threatening note she posted on her MySpace page.
After a while, I was just thinking to myself, you know, I don't deserve this. I don't think that I did that much wrong. I mean, I'm not a criminal.
Civil rights attorneys say thousands may have had their rights violated.
Frequently, there were no lawyers. Frequently, you were told before you were found guilty what the sentence was going to be by the juvenile probation department, and you were whisked away.
You saw the judges come out of court today. What are you feeling?
Angry.
Why?
How do they get to walk out with all these charges? When she went in front of them, she got taken out in shackles.
Attorneys for the judges refuse to comment because a plea agreement has not been finalized. The judges could face at least 7 years in federal prison. Seth Doan, CBS News, Scranton, Pennsylvania.
To severe weather now. Strong winds, some more than 60 miles an hour, created havoc today from the Great Lakes to the East Coast. Falling trees and flying debris are blamed for at least 4 deaths. Snap power lines cut off electricity to more than 600,000 homes and businesses. The high winds caused delays at some airports. Even President Obama had to leave Marine One on the ground and take a motorcade to Andrews Air Force Base. There was some encouraging news today in the foreclosure crisis. The number of Americans on the verge of losing their homes dropped by 10% in January. Just the same, more than 274,000 homeowners received a foreclosure notice. And now there's a new scam involving companies that promise to help you avoid foreclosure by reducing your monthly payments. Our chief investigative correspondent, Armin Gatayan, found that many homeowners who turn to them for help are losing their homes instead.
Somebody's got to help us, man.
Voices of victims.
Nobody can tell me anything.
Pleading for help.
I've lost a lot of money.
With operators at this government call center in Florida.
This is really, really bad.
A hotbed of foreclosure fraud.
It's probably increased 20 to 30% over the last 2 or 3 months.
Scott Palmer, who oversees this call center, says the growing number of scams target homeowners hoping to reduce their payments or avoid losing their homes.
They're successful, I think, because people are desperate.
That's because nearly 1 million families nationwide who bought homes with adjustable rate mortgages worth an estimated $229 billion are now facing increased monthly payments they may not be able to afford.
Opening the door to companies like Outreach Housing of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which made at least $2 million last year.
You will save your home.
Promising mortgage relief.
Get the assistance you need to lower your payment.
For homeowners, the pitch went like this. They would pay Outreach Housing an upfront fee of about $1,200. They would then stop paying their lender and instead pay Outreach every month, an amount equal to 2/3 of their monthly mortgage. Money homeowners like Francosa believed would go toward their mortgage, while Outreach worked with his bank to reduce his payment.
They said, don't worry about anything, don't pay anything, we're taking care of everything.
But they didn't.
Customer fee.
Instead, as victim,
I'm not facing foreclosure.
After victim told us, they got taken.
I have lost $4,000.
I've lost over $6,000.
I lost $5,000.
I lost $12,000.
According to a lawsuit filed by the Florida Attorney General Bill McCollum, Outreach Housing was engaged in a systematic pattern of fraudulent, unfair, and deceptive practices, leaving behind at least 600 victims, all orchestrated by the man who started the company, Blair Wright.
I cannot believe that they truly felt that they were going to help these people. I think this was greed.
Wright, who was twice sanctioned by the state's top financial regulator, refused an on-camera interview with CBS News, citing ongoing litigation.
CBS, Armin Gatayan from CBS News. How are you, man?
So we tracked Mr. Wright down at his office in Fort Lauderdale.
What do you say to the people that feel that...
Well, you need to remember that there's, frankly, a bigger villain in all this.
And who would that be?
That would be the banks that are doing the foreclosures. Thanks very much.
So there's a bigger villain than you. So everyone else is wrong, Mr. Wright?
Read the email.
So you don't want to talk to me?
In the email, Wright blames some of his own employees who he is now suing, including one he claims mismanaged hundreds of Outreach client cases. He also says he's refunded $640,000 to hundreds of homeowners to date, a figure the Florida Attorney General can't confirm.
My credit is ruined.
Late last month, the state of Florida shut down Outreach Housing, citing what it called illegal activities, closing the door on Blair Wright and his business of helping homeowners, at least for now. Armin Gatayan, CBS News, Fort Lauderdale.
Overseas, the U.S. Navy has joined the battle against pirates off the coast of Somalia. Today, the Navy captured 9 suspected pirates after a cargo ship called for help. 7 others were captured yesterday after they tried to hijack another ship while armed with machine guns and grenade launchers. They're now in custody aboard a U.S. warship. Coming up next, a celebration of our 16th president, how a man of such humble beginnings can still have such a profound influence.
I feel a special gratitude to this singular figure who, in so many ways, made my own story possible, and in so many ways made America's story possible.
President Obama at the United States Capitol today leading the tributes to Abraham Lincoln on this, the 200th anniversary of his birth. Lincoln once said that man was made for immortality, and time has certainly proven his. Jeff Glor now on how America remembered our 16th president today.
87 years ago.
Across the country today,
Our fathers brought forth
Lincoln's legacy
a new nation.
in words.
All men are created equal.
Immortalized in his most famous speech, the Gettysburg Address. 200 years since his birth, Lincoln's well-worn story still fascinates, with more than 15,000 books mining the story of our 16th president. He's honored this week with a new look on our penny and a stamp in exhibits coast to coast.
I'm fascinated by anything that humanizes Lincoln the man.
Lincoln collector Jonathan Mann organized one of the largest exhibits at New York's Federal Hall, with some items never before seen by the public.
That's the only known ticket to the Cooper Institute. This put Lincoln on the national stage.
But it was this document that put Lincoln on history's stage. The Emancipation Proclamation, a call to end slavery, his signature feat.
It's what he most wanted to be remembered for, what he was most proud of. Not saving the Union, though that was important. Humanity. He really believed in the principle of equality.
By the time Lincoln entered office in March 1861, 7 states had already seceded from the Union. 4 years later, America's deadliest war had taken more than 600,000 lives. Through it all, Lincoln bent but never broke. These masks, before and after, say it all.
He is the quintessential American story. He rose above the most humble beginnings to achieve greatness, and I hope that he never ceases to inspire anyone.
Government of the people, by the people, for the people.
200 years later, his legacy endures, and so does this nation.
Shall not perish from the earth.
Jeff Glor, CBS News, New York.
And that's the CBS Evening News for tonight. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching. Good night.